If anxiety is crippling and prevents you from being who you are and doing what you want to do, you definitely want to be talking to a professional about this. Definitely not taking advice from me. I've been having panic attacks for a little bit over 10 years now, and some of them are triggered, some of them are out of the blue, some are long and embarrassing, others are short. Anxiety is very fluid, and every panic attack is different. However, I do believe that they have improved over time and have gotten much shorter for me on average. And today I'm sharing a few things that I do that I believe have contributed to this. Definitely give them a go. However, do remember that every person is different and every anxiety is different. So what works for me won't necessarily work for you. On to the tips now. So first of all, if you think you're about to have a panic attack and it is triggered by a place, a person, or a subject, remove yourself from the stress factor if it's possible. There have been many situations when people have gotten me very anxious, and all it took to avoid an embarrassing situation was to ask for a little break and get some fresh air outside. If you are certain that you're having a panic attack, find yourself a safe place where people won't disturb you and sit down or lay down on the floor. You're most likely gonna get dizzy, lightheaded, and disoriented, and the floor just provides a safe, stable surface. Then assume a comfortable position. So bring your knees up to your chest, curl up in a little ball, and also if you're one of those people who cannot be still and need to be pacing back and forth, do that. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable at the moment. Cover your mouth. Your nose and a mouth, I mean. You can use a bag if you'd like, but I find them too loud and generally too attention drawing, so I just use my hands. I do this to avoid hyperventilation. You're gonna breathe very fast and very shallow anyway, but this is just gonna block some of that oxygen out so you don't get even dizzier. If you're not too nauseous and water is readily available, have a drink of water. I've noticed that it slows down the breathing and normalizes the heartbeat somewhat. It's very therapeutic. Try to breathe at the same pace. When I initially started getting panic attacks, I would try to force myself to breathe slower. So I would go on breathing too slow and then would have to catch up and breathe too frantically and uncontrollably that it made it even worse. So now I focus on breathing at the same pace that is comfortable for me, and it just naturally calms down on its own. Cry if you can. In my experience, crying just helps you release some of that energy that adrenaline is providing for you, and the faster you can get rid of that energy, the faster the panic attack will pass. So the next thing I would recommend you is to feel your pulse. Sometimes when you're panicking, your heart will beat faster than normal, and sometimes it will be stronger, but at the same speed, if that makes sense. But if you feel your pulse, you would actually find that it's not going quite as fast as you think it does. Remember that it's only your body's alarm going off at the wrong time. The danger isn't real. The fight or flight response is triggered by chemicals. It does not pose danger to your body whatsoever, and it will pass within 10 to 30 minutes. Sometimes I would even try to imagine how adrenaline is pumping through my blood, providing me with energy and tensing muscles and doing all of the things that it does. Sort of visualizing it, putting a name on it, and thinking about how it works makes it 10 times less scary. This is probably the hardest thing on the list, but try not to fight it. I know it's incredibly hard not to try and fight something as awful as a panic attack, but you must realize that adding more fight and resisting this will only result in more frustration. So I really like to tell myself, I'm having a panic attack. No matter what I do, it's happening. It's okay. It'll be over soon. I'll be fine. If you're having a panic attack in a public place, you want to guide people if you don't have anybody to do it for you. Remember that it's okay to ask for help if you need it, but it's also okay to ask to be left alone. Some people find great comfort in the presence of another human. It's comforting to talk to them, hug them, hold hands, just seek moral support from others. But there are also people, myself included, who really prefer to be on their own and not disturbed by anybody. And it's okay to ask for either one. Unfortunately, people don't naturally know what to do when somebody's having a panic attack, so there will be situations where you will have to advocate for yourself. So in the long run, if you have had multiple panic attacks and you think you're gonna have more, you might want to find a comforter. It could be a smell, a song, a person, or a sensation. For example, a lot of people find great comfort in putting pressure on their skin. It's just something that you can bring along or do if you know that you're gonna be anxious in advance. Make yourself an anxiety card. I have the luxury of having my husband next to me almost 100% of the time when we're outside. And he knows exactly what I need when I'm having a panic attack, and he knows how to properly advocate for me in situations when people are getting nervous and don't know what to do. But if for some reason I don't have him with me, I would always bring along a card that says something like, I'm having a panic attack, I do not need medical attention, it will pass in a few minutes and I will be alright. So that I can give it to a person in case I cannot speak, but they don't know what to do. It's normally in English on one side and Spanish or Russian on the other, depending on where we are in the world at the time. However, if we are traveling to a country that doesn't speak either one of those languages, I would try my best to translate it to their native language as well. Okay, the most important thing, the secret to it all, is talking to someone about it. I cannot stress this enough. A good support system is the most important thing for good mental health. Talking to my husband about my panic attacks and letting my family know that I have them was the greatest thing I've ever done. It improved my mental health tremendously and made me less anxious overall. And it doesn't have to be a family member or a spouse. It could be a friend, it could be a teacher, just a person that you trust and you feel safe with. Anybody. The worst thing you can do is keep it all to yourself and allow yourself to be isolated. Although the goal, of course, is always communicating with your loved ones and achieving just a safe, trusting space where you can be yourself and feel safe and heard and validated, and just achieving healthy relationships overall. These are all of the things that I do that I believe have contributed to my panic attacks getting lighter and shorter. If you have anything that helps you, please leave it down in the comments so that others can read it. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And I hope this was useful for somebody. I hope you're all well and happy and healthy. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Lightheaded. Lightheaded is the word. Dizzy, lightheaded. Dizzy, lightheaded. Come on. Come on, you've almost done it. Imagine it wasn't filming. That would have been awful.